Good evening and welcome to the City of Warr Acres regular Planning Commission meeting, Tuesday, August 13th, 2024, 6 p.m. Item 1 is called to order. Obviously, declaration of a quorum present, and we'll do the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 2 is to approve the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting held on July 9th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Davis. Corey.
Yes.
Schiff.
Yes.
Downs.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item number 3. This will be a public hearing. Use subject to review. Discussion and possible action to make a recommendation to the City Council concerning an application for rezoning from R1 to C4 located at 5707 Northwest 42nd Street. Name is Jose Encantes Viatoro. Name of it's going to be a business event center. Are the applicants here? Okay. To start with, we'll get with the city staff.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an application for 5707 Northwest 42nd Street. The proposed use is an event center. However, I do believe that in the application, they did ask for a C4 zoning, but it's our recommendation that this is potentially better as a C3 zoning. There are some C4 and R2 properties nearby, but most of the properties are R1, especially to the east. If you look back to Title 19.36020 for the C3 zoning category, the permitted uses are eating, drinking, and recreation establishments of the following type: billiard parlor, pool hall, domino parlor, catering facility, drive-in for food, drinks, or confection, a restaurant, cafe, or a banquet hall, including those licensed by the Able Commission as a mixed beverage establishment, beer and wine, as so long as the establishment's main purpose is not selling or serving alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises. So therefore, the request for C4 is actually, I think, was in error.
Okay.
C3 would be recommended. There are a few items that would need to be done that were not included in the application, but could be handled administratively as part of the permit process, the building permit. There's not a enclosed dumpster shown, but there is a dumpster at the northwest corner of the parking lot site.
Okay.
And then we would also suggest or recommend that there needs to be fencing. There is some level of fencing around the perimeter, but this would need to be an actual privacy type fence around the perimeter on the site plan. And there is an opportunity for landscaping that needs to be done on the east side, buffering between the residential backyards. With that, I can answer any questions that you might have related to our recommendation.
Typically, well, I don't have anything else from the staff myself. Anyone else have anything, questions for the staff?
Thank you.
Thank you.
do have a question, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So on our agenda, it's R1 to C4. You said we're gonna have to amend that, but do we need to amend that as far as decline R1 to C4 here and then get how do we need to do that? Or do we just make a motion amending it?
I'm going to defer to the attorney.
Okay.
All you can vote on tonight is whether or not to keep it as R1 or to change it to C4.
That's what I was getting at.
We could always have the applicant, and a little bit of procedural technicalities here. The public was only notified of R1 to C4, public wasn't notified of R1 to C3, so that's going to be on the table. Notices need to go out for that. I mean, I've got my own thoughts on C4 here. I've got some pretty strong thoughts on that, which I'm happy to share if anybody wants them. But for what you've got tonight, it's C4 or no C4.
That's
C3 could come at another meeting.
That's what I was getting at, because I don't see any reason for it to be C4, because that would change it to C4 forever
And again,
and back.
our recommendation, C4 is really not the appropriate zoning for this.
That's my question. I know where I'm
To-
going now.
To give you guys an idea, C4 has been reserved for properties that abut the Northwest Highway. There are some properties, and I want to be fair here, there are some properties that are on 40th Street or 41st Street, and there are a couple properties that are on the south side of 42nd Street that are C4, but for the most part, C4 and C5 are your heaviest density commercial zoning districts, which were primarily designed when the comprehensive plan was adopted to be those two main corridors, the Route 66 and the 39th Street Expressway. It'd be different if it was the property that I think might be church property. It's on the south side of 42nd, a couple lots in from MacArthur that is basically sandwiched in between C4 lots. This one is sandwiched in between R1 lots.
Right.
And if you go further west, you get multifamily lots.
And that's
Everything,
my
everything
concern.
behind it, everything to the east of it, everything to the southeast of it is all R1. Not saying that a C3 couldn't work here, but a C3 would be a really intriguing one for you guys to dig into, because you do have all the hallmarks of why we have these public hearings, which is you're talking about taking residential and turning it commercial, right in the middle of what is, at least for zoning purposes, currently zoned for single-family residential. And so you're going to have all sorts of potential discussions here about the potential impact on those adjacent properties, which, as of today, are going to remain single-family R1. The event center proposal is great, but this is also a good opportunity to remind you that while the applicant has a particular use that they want, if it gets rezoned C3, it's C3, and if in 10 years the lot sells to somebody else,
Then it could be
think
anything
of
that falls
anything,
under that.
think of anything that is north of 42nd on MacArthur and south of the Northwest Highway, any of those businesses, those could go into that lot. Because those are all C3 properties right now, and generally speaking, those are all conforming uses to C3. Any of those businesses that you see right now in MacArthur could go into this lot. And that's why this process is so important, because of how it can impact all the adjacent properties. But as it stands tonight, all you've got before you is C4, which is heavy density commercial. Could be a car lot, could be a car wash.
It can be a car lot.
Well, you're right, because that's C5.
So in this case, though.
Could be a grocery store.
It could be something more intrusive on the R1 lots around it than just.
More
an
intrusive,
event
more
center.
heavy density.
Right.
And when I'm talking about density, I'm talking about, among other things, traffic.
Right.
Could we,
We can open up
do they have to withdraw it, redo it, or we just go ahead and vote on the C4 direction, or?
It's their application. If they want to continue to pursue it as C4, then we take it up on the merits of C4.
Okay.
If they want to withdraw it and resubmit it for C3, then it becomes moot, and we move on to the next item.
So that would be my question.
And for you, I'm assuming you're the applicant?
Yes, I'm George Marquez with Civil and Environmental Consultants. I'm representing the proprietor,
Okay.
Jose Villatoro.
Do you know if the person you're representing, do you know why they applied for C4?
Like your engineer mentioned, it was a mistake.
Okay.
Honest mistake. We really didn't know where it would fit, but we absolutely accept the recommendation to C3 and not C4, which would be less intrusive.
So if that's the route that, I keep wanting to say your client because I'm an attorney and that's the verbiage that we use, but if that, lack of a better
And they're
term,
my client.
if that's the route that the person you're representing wants to go, then they can either get an up or down vote on C4 tonight and then at city council, or they can ask to withdraw their application so they can resubmit it for C3. And then we'd go through the process again, notices out to the public, but this time it would be for the lower density commercial.
I think it's in our best interest to just go ahead and withdraw the application and go ahead and resubmit for C3.
Okay. It's very much like the process they already went through. It's just number 3 instead of number 4. And there might be some more details that the city staff needs, but just have them get with city staff to get a new application submitted. And as long as they do it here in the next couple of weeks, they can be on the planning commission meeting for next month, potentially. Mike, what's your window? How?
20 days, I gotta mail these letters out.
Okay, so 20 days before the second Tuesday next month would be the deadline for them to get the application to him so he can get the notices mailed out. Luckily, we've already got the mailing list.
Just go in and put application and write.
Yeah, just
say
resubmit. You're
C4,
gonna use the
C3.
same.
Cause when I looked at C4, I'm going, well, I recommended C3,
Right,
but that was them, and I think you did it.
yeah. So,
Cause I regurgitated what was on the application.
right. Okay, yeah,
Next-
that's
next-
fine. And you're gonna use the same ownership list, or do we have to pull another one?
That's attorneys.
Do we know when we pulled the list the last time?
You pulled the last list.
Well, it goes back a ways in time.
Yeah, I
So-
think it was
so-
pretty close to when we submitted the application.
So D-Day, so to speak, to submit the new application would be next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday.
She tells me, and she knows more than I do about this, so,
Right.
in terms of the processing, in terms of whether or not to pull a new. Yeah, there'll need to be a new ownership list
Okay,
pulled.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it would be expired, so.
Okay.
And if you would include a site plan and address the dumpster enclosure,
And the privacy fence.
perimeter fencing, and
landscaping.
landscaping per the
Okay.
landscaping ordinance, those are things that we would want to see.
Okay, absolutely.
Very helpful.
And out of curiosity, is anybody here from the public on this item? If you are, just raise your hand. Okay, well, we got at least one person. I'm gonna imagine that some of the concerns could have been that it was C4. Some of them might just more generally be that it's commercials. I'd also recommend, you probably are already prepared to address some of those concerns, but just be prepared if there are residents that are concerned about the change from residential to
Right.
commercial.
I don't think they're gonna serve alcohol there. I've discussed that with them.
Well, it really doesn't matter because.
Right next to a
owning-
church.
Well, that's a good point. They'd have to be able to get an able commission license, which wouldn't get,
right, yeah.
as long as the church is open,
Some of the junk is over.
which, I mean, no reason to think it's gonna close anytime soon, but,
They bought it from a church that's across one street, right next to that one
right.
church.
My point is more, the fact that there's a church today doesn't mean there'll be a church 30 years from now, but the zoning will be there for 30 years. So if a church does close, then it could open the door for a mixed beverage establishment. So, because we're not approving, we weren't being asked to approve an event center tonight. We were being asked to approve C4 zoning, next month C3 zoning, which carries with it a whole host of uses, including being able to use it for an event center.
Right.
All right,
All right, thank you.
appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So for the minutes, we'll just show that the application was withdrawn.
Moving on to item 4, use subject to review, discussion, and possible action to make recommendation to the city council concerning application for an automotive-related facility. Wrecker Service located at 5932 Northwest 39th. Name A&R Tycoon. The applicant here, yes?
Hello.
If you state your name and address for the minutes, please.
Ron Mutashami, and the address, we have 5932 Northwest 39th, which is a dealership that we own.
Okay.
That piece of land we are speaking about is actually on Northwest 38th.
Oh, 38th. Okay.
Yes.
I was wondering that. I believe we've seen you guys here before, right?
Sure, yeah, a
Yes,
few times,
okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and just,
We do have the deed here if you guys need it.
and just for the record, the Block 1, Lot 9 in that area is all one lot that goes from 39th to 38th. So it's
Yeah.
not like your normal, if you think about it, there'd be separate lots that front the different streets. This one goes all the way through.
So,
Yeah, could I have that?
yeah. Mark, would you like to speak to the staff or for the staff?
Certainly. As Matt mentioned, this is all one property. It is being proposed that they will utilize Northwest 38th as their frontage ingress and egress. The proposed use is a wrecker service. This property is surrounded by C5. On the same property as well, you have, in the vicinity, you have the watch store, some other equipment supply. There's a vacant lot. So there's a variety of existing uses, however, it's surrounded by C5. Under Title 19.38030, for uses allowed in C5, automotive-related facilities, including but not limited to automotive light truck sales, rental and service, new and used vehicles, service station, car wash, self-service, or automatic, general automobile repair, excluding an auto salvage. Yes, then what's the question is, this is a wrecker service as opposed to a salvage yard, which I believe in the past this did, whether it was permitted or not, was quite a large use was salvage, auto salvage, so.
It was the Camaro place back
That
a
was the
long,
Camaro
long
salvage
time ago.
previously?
Yeah, not to dredge all that back up,
Right,
but,
right.
you know, this is specifically a wrecker service. They did include their site plan with their ingress and egress, and the rest of their application is consistent with the C5 zoning
Very good.
in the surrounding area. Thank you.
Thank you. On this one, is there anyone here from the public on this item?
I was only asking the last time, just to see.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't. Nobody?
Oh, we still need to open it formally.
We'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll move to open the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Davis,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Schiff,
Yes.
Downs,
Yes.
Buntry,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you, guys. And we're not gonna use it for salvage yard whatsoever, you know, it will be.
Hold on one sec.
Yeah.
Is there anybody from the public who wants to speak to the Plan Commission? Come on up. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself for the record?
Vicki Douglas, 5412 Northwest 42nd. I had a question. You guys own to the place, to the
To the west
east?
of it is Ben's Auto Sales, we
Right,
don't own that.
No, to the east, where you came to the council one time and asked to put in a car lot, and then now it's a roofing company?
Yes,
That's yours?
yes.
Okay, okay. Are you going to own the wrecker service? You personally gonna own?
No, not me, no.
You're
We're leasing it
leasing out
yes.
to someone
So,
else?
Yeah, they are right now based off of Tulsa.
Uh-huh,
They're gonna use it as a storage down here, you know, for their yard, you know, for the business they do in Oklahoma City.
okay. So wrecker service, they haul the cars in
Yeah,
and just leave them there until when?
I guess when, you know, they get situated with the bank or, you know, whoever they, you know, report for. And eventually, they make their way to
Okay.
the auction.
Oh, okay, for auctions.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
not gonna stay there. It's not gonna be, like salvage or
Yeah,
nothing
okay,
like that, yes.
okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Not a problem.
So I guess you kind of touched on it a little bit there. Basically, it's planned to be leased out by a company to use it as a basically storage facility or repo lot
Repo
until
yard, yes.
they move on. So do you know approximately like how many vehicles they plan on having? And this is all outdoor storage?
It's all outdoor storage, and I'm not sure how many cars I can find out for sure, and how many numbers.
It is.
Is it all concrete? Is it all, it's all paved back there?
Portion of it, yes.
Portion of it? Okay.
There is a site plan that's
I was thinking I saw it, but
A100.
I must have flipped past it.
And it looks like this. It has 38th Street on the bottom.
Yes.
Thank you.
They are proposing the concrete paving.
Yes.
Okay.
And your wreckers, your tow trucks are gonna go in off the 38th. They're not gonna go in off 39th or?
Definitely not. No, the entrance is gonna be on Northwest 38th Street.
Okay. Has it already got a high fence?
It sure does, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, the fence is really too high.
Too high?
Yeah, well, it's the same one that the Camaro place had.
Oh, right, right,
About 10
okay.
feet
Gary
tall
had
with
one.
metal.
That's right, yeah. Okay.
So is there concerns that we need to address that at this time? I feel
Well,
like there
I'm
was-
not real sure, but I remember correctly, the planning commission addressed it, it was just never corrected. But I could be wrong about that. That's been so long ago.
Is the fence, when you say it's too high, is it in violation of the city code or?
It's violation of city code, but it's been there forever and ever and ever. It's over 8 feet the highest, and it's 10 feet.
Maybe more, 12 feet.
Yeah, so you'll, at the administrative level, if this gets approved and you start moving forward and you do start to overhaul the property to lease it out to the record service, you'll need to get with staff because more likely than not, the fence will need to come into compliance with the city code as part of that project. But that's not really something for the planning commission to address unless, honestly, planning commission could try to impose some additional fencing restrictions, but if they don't, then you just have to be in compliance with the city code.
Sure, no problem.
Is there going to be, the existing building that's shown right there, is that for the business to the north?
You talking about the building?
Yeah, existing building?
Yes, that's the dealership to the Northwest 39th. It's facing 39th.
So is there going to be any sort of office there, or is this just going to be for the wrecker to
So they
to
told
run
us
out
they're
of?
gonna have a portable building there. I need to get more details from them. Size, if it's gonna have restroom or not, and I'm gonna get more details from them.
All mobile home office type deal or
Yes.
something?
And again, that will need to go through for a building permit process.
Well, if you're gonna have
Sure, yes.
electricity in it, which you should, you gotta have telephone in and all that stuff, mechanical stuff in it, it has to be permitted.
Either will take care of it.
Got it.
And also the address, what do we,
It'd have to be 38th.
okay.
That's
should
where
we
you're gonna
apply
do
for
it.
that?
The reason we didn't do it, because it didn't exist.
I'm not sure, you know how they apply for that address change?
Exactly.
I can do it.
You can do it? Okay, well, there you go.
Okay, there you go, right now. And the height of the fence, what's the city code on that?
8 feet
8 feet
maximum.
for the highest,
highest,
and you'll want it the highest.
yes.
Oh, they will. I don't know how it got unpainted corrugated steel and 9 or 12 feet high. That was as far as, ever since I was here, that was illegal.
No, we will take care of it, Mike.
Is there anybody else from the public that is here to speak on this item?
make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Davis,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Schiff,
Yes.
Downs,
Yes.
Plundry,
Yes.
Pepper,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right.
Matt, is there any issues with it having the wrong address on the actual agenda item? Or is there something?
No, because they're going to have a new address, but the
Right, 'cause
address
it
for
doesn't
the,
have one right now.
but the address for the lot, because you're approving the lot, albeit here, because you got the site plan, it's gonna be a portion of the lot.
It's the same lot.
Right, okay.
He's just renting it out, and it goes all the way to 38th, and you will have to
For
establish.
it to have
a new
another address, wouldn't you have to split the lot, though? Or
No,
just make it like an A or a B or
he's
whatever?
not selling
Yeah,
it.
I can answer that.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I can, so if you look on that site plan,
Yeah.
and it's a little confusing, but we went through this like a while back on the earlier. This is where you use the same lot. Oftentimes they're referred to as a condo agreement or some type of a tenant sublease. It says Suite A, that's where he has his car lot up at the top. Suite B and Suite C. So when he came to Planning Commission originally, he always intended that he was going to sublet all of these pieces.
okay.
See, he already, that same lot, I think he owns that watch
Oh, right.
deal, and also that dispensary and that car dealership.
Yeah, so you've got multiple tenants and uses, so it's often very common to have this kind of a condo suite agreement where he's subleasing out. As long as we have a consistent use, Mike can assign it for 911 purposes though. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
And for notice purposes, when you have something like this, if you don't subdivide it, then we're using the radius from the lot line, which is gonna be the full lot line.
That's
not-
right.
Not just the portion that's gonna be used.
Yeah. Answered. Thank you.
okay. Good question though.
Good job, Tucker.
Mr. Chairman, before you is an application asking for a recommendation to either approve, that the city council approve with modifications or restrictions, or reject the proposed use.
Well, I would entertain a motion from one of the members of the commission.
Everybody's looking at me.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval to the city council.
I'll second.
Davis,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Schiff,
Yes.
Downs,
Yes.
Plundry,
No.
Pepper,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, you guys have been down this path before. This
Yes.
time, next week, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, this room.
And about the address, do we just continue with ABC, or is Mike gonna sign a new
I can
address?
give you one if you call me Monday,
Okay.
Okay.
tomorrow, or whatever.
Not a problem.
But
It's just something that's not being used on 38,
Okay.
mainly is what we're gonna do, and it has to kind of correspond with the right and left-hand sides and everything else.
But let's get the horse in front of the cart. Let's do the use first, and then if the use gets approved, then you'll need an address for it.
Okay, sounds good. Good. Thank you very much.
All right, item 5, use subject to review, discussion and possible action to make recommendation to the city council concerning application for automotive-related facilities. Location is 5505 Northwest 50th. Name is Eco Alvarado de Leon. Business name Julio's Auto Repair. And the applicant here tonight?
Now, some of that land is in Oklahoma City, the majority of it is in Warr Acres. I believe that the majority of it's in Warr Acres. It's right next to Ron's. It was not open to the public, somebody's buying it. I don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
I put a stop work order on there for
Okay.
a while, and you know, took pictures and everything else.
Mark, would you like to speak to this?
Certainly. So this is a special use permit, 5505 Northwest 50th. It's signed or advertised Julio's Auto Repair. If you go to the actual application on page 1, the application is showing that it is zoned C4, and it's actually zoned C3. So that's just a Scrivener error on the application, but it's important that you understand that
Everything on 50th is C3.
3. So this is a C3 application. It is, as Mike mentioned, it is surrounded to the south and to the northwest and west direction by R1. And then it is
I
bounded by,
believe people are here to talk about this issue, but that live in R1.
okay. And then Oklahoma City, city limits is on the other east side, as well as, I mean, kind of the north and east direction.
And west. And west.
And west, yes.
This is an area of town
It's a-
where we've got, if you go to Grove, the city limit stops on the north side, but then when you get to this property, we pick up this property through Ron's, and it goes back to
And
Oklahoma
then
City.
where that Willow Cliff Road is, portions of that are in adjacent, have an Oklahoma City city limits. Now, this has been a auto repair or salvage for an extended period of time. There have been code issues. That's something for Mike to address.
They've never been licensed
Yeah.
for a long, long, long time. Jim Mickley brought it to everybody's attention. They were selling it to car lots or redoing it for car lots. I don't know what they were doing. But I went and asked, and
Whenever you guys are ready, I can
Okay.
tell that up to.
So essentially what we're having to look at is then, this has been functioning, but yet
Not legal.
not legally. And so you have to look at 19.36030, which is auto-related facilities, not limited to automobile service station, fuel pump with a retail business, automobile wash and service with a wash facility, minor repair, including brakes, tune-up, muffler, and shock absorber installation, excluding body repair or paint shop, heavy truck or equipment service, vehicle trailer or sales rental, or vehicle storage. So the category of 19.36030 has not actually been the function of this property for a very long time. But that's your benchmark. Looking at providing this use upon review is under a C3 category. So that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Right, would someone like to make a motion to open the public hearing?
Do you want to hear from the applicant first?
Oh, yeah, I guess we should. We didn't hear from him, did we? I'm sorry, sir, would you like to go ahead and speak to what you have going on at this place and some of the concerns that other people have that you
You can
might?
introduce yourself first, and then
100%. My name is Damon Mohammadi. I actually own the property.
Okay.
And Julio's the gentleman who's got the mechanic shop there
Okay.
currently. But I want to go back to the history of what occurred so that we can show, I know this looks bad on our part. It's explainable, doesn't make it okay. But the reason I'm here tonight as the owner of the property is I want to hear what needs to be done, because I think these are good folks, but I also want the misunderstanding to be explained and let the cards fall where they will, and just go from there. But I actually bought the property, I feel like in 2012, and it was actually basically, it was a mechanic shop for me. The lot I had was that little.
if you don't mind, sir, if you can just, mainly because.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You don't have to be that close, but
I got it.
it's
I got
primarily
it.
for their benefit
So,
and
no,
also
no,
people
no, I
out
got
there.
it, I got it. So back in 2012, when I bought it, my car lot was so small that I needed a separate lot just to hold it. I bought that place from Sergio, and I don't know if you guys were here or who was involved, but we redid the entire thing. We followed all kinds of council suggestions and everything, painted it, repaved it and everything. I went to Putnam City Original. Ron's kids were my friends, you know what I mean, next door, so I even know Ron. But that being said, when 2017 hit, I had a scare where I thought my mom, back in 2020, in 2017, I converted it fully to me because I had a partner on the deal, and he left, and so I took it on myself. It was still a mechanic shop for me. In 2021 or 22, during COVID, I had a scare where I thought my mother got cancer again, and I closed down my car dealership. If anybody goes back and looks at it, you can see that City Auto Sales closed. I was servicing my cars only. I wasn't open to the public. And the dealership that was adjacent, this gentleman worked for a mechanic for that dealer that was adjacent. So when I minimized my car dealership, it seemed to make sense. Now, I am assuming between the language barrier and situations that I didn't know this was happening, and I think that I can see what's occurred. I'm here to tell you what happened up to that point. Again, I'm telling you, I understand that it wasn't okay, but I am the owner of the property, at least, standing here, not the applicant, saying, let me hear what we need to do, and I'll follow the guidelines and get it back to where it was, because, I mean, I remember going to it when it was a car wash, when I was a kid, before, it changed. So, and this is Julio, if you have any questions about the actual business portion of this, and I can help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions for Julio?
Yeah, Julio, if you would like to state your name and address into the microphone.
Yeah. Julio, 405, 5505 Northwest 50th, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73122.
What is, and so what is your primary, your business here going on? Auto repair?
Yes, he's doing an auto repair. I asked him kind of these questions. Guys, I'm gonna say this too. These are good folks. There's a little bit of a language barrier. And that's also why I'm here, is because I know the character quality of these folks, and it's important enough for me to help them. It's not about renting the property, it's more to make sure that these guys get a shot. And so I think a lot of the problems here was language barrier and fear. And that's why I'm here to resolve some of that fear and show a direction for these folks.
Okay.
Sorry again, I didn't mean to interrupt, I just trying to help.
So primarily when somebody's coming in asking for an application like this, what we would be asking them to do right now is to describe what it is they're gonna be doing at the property. The nature of the business, the hours of operations, things like that.
Hours of operations, he can tell. I know that he's got 3 employees. I know that there's 5 dealers that are very close and local that work exclusively with them. Most of them are family. I mean, most of the car dealers in that area are family to some degree, whether it's relations to marriage and this, that, and the other. So I know that he's got consistent work coming from them. I walked the property. I apologize, guys. Also, this was not in your packet. I've got 12 of these. I don't know if it was supposed to be more. Should I pass it out to you guys?
Here, I'll help you.
Thank you. That's the site plan. It's been updated, so you guys have a better visual of it. And again, but what he's doing is basic, small work rapidly for those dealers that are on that street. I mean, obviously, by default, when you're a dealership, turn time is your money, whether you're on a line of credit or you're just trying to move fast. So there's that. I will say that I know that they've got the business, and again, that's who they're working with predominantly.
Excuse me, so.
Yes, sir.
So this is not necessarily open to the public. He's doing contract work for car dealerships. When they take a car in, he goes, checks it out, gets it ready to put back out on the lot to sell.
Yeah, I mean,
And so there's no drive up and, hey, my car's overheating, can you, it's not a public.
No,
Okay,
you got Ron next door for that.
Right, that's what I was,
And we,
Direct.
there's, again, I grew up with Ron's kids. And
it's only to contract to those dealerships.
correct.
So it's still not open to the public is what we're saying.
Right.
Because I was told it was gonna be open to the public when they took it or bought it.
You're keeping it closed to only TJ and all the guys.
It's just
Yeah.
contract work.
Yeah, contract, correct. Which was what I was doing, and I did have a license up to that point. I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't follow through in COVID and everything else. I apologize on my part. It's not an excuse.
And so, Mike, the violations are permits, or is
Well,
there?
they haven't had a license according to Crystal,
Right,
have
no
they?
license.
For a long, long, long time. And when I went out there and asked them what they were doing, you couldn't get in half the time.
Right.
And when I did get in, I put a stop work order on there because they were took pictures of all the cars and
Yeah.
everything. I said, this is a car dealership. I kept asking and asking. I said, what are we doing here?
So there'll
And
be
never
no
got an
sales
answer.
from that spot?
Absolutely not. It's not allowed in Warr. We were aware of that when we bought the property back then. May I also say one thing? This is slightly, I didn't realize that this license, they were liking a business license, not the property. I thought there was something wrong with the property. When I originally heard that I needed a plat survey, I literally almost spent $4,000 trying to get an actual survey, and I didn't understand why it wasn't at the closing. I didn't realize you wanted the aerial, and that literally is what took the longest time, was because I did the title closing on Tulsa at, I can't remember the name of it, right off the roof. They're like, Damon, I don't know what they want. So I came back to Mike, I was like, Mike, I'm about to spend $4,000. He's like, no, this is what you need. And that's why we're here versus last month, or there's just been a lot of misunderstanding. But again, I'm here to make sure that I'll listen, and there is no language barrier here. We will fix it.
This started with Jim Mickley. He's the one that brought it to it, wanted it done, and it's been going on ever since he was here.
What I'm understanding is we've got a place that was a repair shop that you used as a repair facility for your dealership that you had. You closed that dealership down, still used it for your personal use, occasionally, or whatever you needed to do.
I may have I think it was just sitting for a minute, but Julio was looking for a location, so it was kind of a shoe-in.
So he
Yeah.
starts moving in, working, so.
Correct, I cleaned it out.
At the time, back when you were using it for what you were doing as a repair shop, because as a repair shop, he needs a license to be a repair shop?
It's a business, every
Yeah.
business
And-
needs
but
a license.
you had one, but you let
Correct.
that lapse under your name.
Correct. and
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Just seeing that yours went away, then he comes in and starts working, but never gets a license to do work in Warr Acres, and then
Correct.
that's kind of been going on and on and on, because it's kind of a closed deal, not open to the public, and now we're trying to figure out what needs to be done to catch this back up. Okay, I think I'm following. So, concerns, does anyone from the commission have any more questions for them?
Well, and I mean, why we're here
Yeah.
is we have uses subject to review.
Yep.
And so the use that they had when they had a business license was subject to review. Obviously, it had been approved when it had a business license.
Right.
The business license lapsed, it closed, whatever transpired. So now, in order for him to get that, we need to have you review it again. And per 19.360, it's subject to review, and that's what I quoted to you. So we need to look at that, or otherwise they cannot even
Get the business
apply for the
license.
business license.
This is, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a little bit like the dispensary that came before us a month or two ago, where it had been approved, then didn't get used, and so lost the approval and has to come back and get the
Has to come back again. It doesn't matter what year any of this all happened in the past, in order for it to happen today. And that's why you're asking, what does it take for you to move forward? This is step one.
Correct.
And then
So
if this
we're
gets
here to-
approved, step two is getting the business license, and
We're here to say, yes, they can use it for that service pending getting the license.
Well,
Or getting the business.
it'd be the reverse. There's no point in getting a business license if you don't get the approval to use it for the business.
Well, not pending, but, So,
The city council would have to approve it, and
The
then,
business licensing issue is a bit of a red herring. It does provide some context for the history, but what you have before you is the use, which is whether or not this property should be allowed to be used for automotive service facilities, and more specifically, repair.
but not to the public.
Honestly, unless you restrict it as part of a motion, you'd be approving it for the automotive repair use. The fact that their current business model would be to use it for other dealerships doesn't mean that somebody couldn't come in down the road, buy the business, and start using it like Ron's.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't get so granular to the exact business plan that a particular applicant has. You're looking at the use that that business plan fits within.
Mark, my thought where I was going is there's obviously quite a few people that are here to speak to this, so I was kind of wondering, what kind of things we might have had as far as issues from the public, before really getting into the fact of, I mean, maybe there's something more here going on that we need to address as just, rather than just the fact that they didn't have a license this whole time, so,
Well, didn't have license and didn't have zoning approval.
or zoning approval as well. Oh, wait, that's right. I'm sorry, I got kind of off track, but yeah.
Just so I'm clear, has this business, this has been being used for auto repair this whole time, correct? Or is it not being used at all right now?
They're shut down right now.
They're shut down right now?
Correct. Like they haven't been,
I put a stop work order.
yeah.
Okay.
Who's been doing the contract with the dealerships?
We don't know, and there's cars that are there and they haven't even moved them
Got 'em
because
back.
out of fear of just, guys, listen.
Like it didn't burn the bridges when he goes, if he gets approval and he can go in there and start working again, when he goes back to those dealerships, they're gonna be like, no.
No, because their family, you gotta understand that two of the guys were neighbors of mine that had dealerships next to me, and they were the ones that actually introduced me to him, so it was like I kinda know his flow.
Okay.
And it'll be, I know it'll be there.
Okay. Yeah, I agree, we should open up to public. I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second.
Davis,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Schiff,
Yes.
Downs,
Yes.
Plumtree,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion approved.
Guys, this is the point at which we're going to hear from the public. You guys are welcome to either step to the side, or if you want to take a seat in the front row there, whatever works best. But
I'll stay right
if you don't mind,
Yeah, you have to go.
Yeah, why don't you guys sit down?
so for the benefit of everybody
That way
out
they
there.
can use the mic. Yeah, you guys can sit.
For the benefit of everybody out there, if you are here on this item and want to be heard by the planning commission, just come on up and form in a line is a great idea. When you get up to the microphone, if you can just introduce yourself, what your name is, what your address is, that's just for our minutes so we can record it there. And then if you got a question, you got a statement you want to make, now is the time that essentially the floor is yours to ask questions or make a statement.
I am Stacy Coulter, and I live at 5115 North Ann Arbor, which is directly like 12 feet from them. Their gate is from 50th all the way back. I was wondering, what are your hours going to be?
So, I'm Nancy Alvarado, I'm his wife. We're gonna be open Monday through Friday, 8 AM to 6 PM, Saturday, 8 AM to 4 PM.
And what kind of work are you gonna do? Mechanic, so you do oil changes, antifreeze, radiator, stuff like that? Fluids? Okay. Yeah, what do you do with, how do you dispense of your fluids?
Company there's oils and different, like, even small dealerships, there's, that it's illicit, you don't really gotta look.
Right.
They'll come on. And I've already seen their tanks where it's sitting, so I want to make sure that I have those.
That's a lot. Someone else can talk.
Can we submit some photos of what occurs at the property?
If you want to pass them around, just if you might first introduce yourself, just so we get it
My
for the
name is
record.
Dina Layton. I live at 5808 and a half Northwest 41st. And I'm real good friends with Stacy, and we, go to each other's houses and stuff. And that's, the concerns that I see over at her house are the oil, when it rains, especially when it rains, their guttering is not correct, and it goes all into Stacy's property. And as you can see on the photos, the oil that is collected in Stacy's yard is not, it's not healthy.
So this is directly, I'm sorry, this is directly north?
East.
East, okay. So there's a, this is part of the apartments, or is there a house right there?
No, it's Stacy's house.
Oh, okay, I see it, okay. I'm sorry.
I want to make sure that if there's something, then I want to make sure you guys are.
And I missed it, these pictures were taken directly after a rain or during a rain?
Yes. That's when it's most prevalent.
When were the pictures taken? How long ago?
That's been over a period of time, 2 or 3 years.
And the things you see in the photos that are metal, that's what washes out underneath the fence. And so she used a magnet to get all of it out of, so it won't go in her tires and stuff. Yeah.
No, yeah, we are.
This is over 3 years?
Yes, 3 years.
3 years of stuff underneath the fence. All picked up by a magnet. It's full of jar.
And are you saying that that's coming, like, so, but making an assumption, don't like making assumptions, is it being washed over from the water, or?
Wash from the water.
Okay.
Is it of course, like a creek or anything near you guys? Are you guys on a downhill slope? You are? Are you the house that's in the back corner? Have you guys been there for a long time? You remember Casey, right? Casey that used to work with me, and there, did it happen back then?
Oh, yeah.
It happened back then too, when Casey was there?
It's been happening ever since we've been there.
So back in 2012 it was happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go, yeah, go to the mic and ask. Well, we need to go through.
There is a big language there. Yeah, I think that if you guys have my number. It's pretty bad. This is good. I'm happy to hear all of this to make sure that. It's just.
So that's
I wanna,
I didn't know that, okay, so it's this house right here.
There's just like stuff, like, if I show you what.
I've gone several times.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Casey used to talk to you guys and stuff.
So you're going off to that little lake there, so that's where it's going, so it's past that, it's catching up under it. Because that's gotta be the house right there, yeah. That's Ron's. Yep.
I think a lot of the water issues is guttering. I don't think they have it guttered properly.
Right, yeah.
All concrete, it's gonna go somewhere. That's, again, that's like, after he does his business permit and gets his license, I would think, well, that's.
I guess it's just all come to a head, it's so, things have been happening for so long. It's just time to address the problems.
So ma'am, not to be rude to you or anything like that, but do you have any other concerns that you wanted to express to the commission? Only ask because if you turn around, you'll see there's a little bit of a
No,
line
I'm
behind
done.
you.
I'm done.
We appreciate you being
Take my
here.
jar.
We'll
I'm
get
not
your
taking it with me,
Okay.
so.
We'll get your pictures back out to you.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind, we'll, before the end of the meeting, make sure you grab your photos, but want to make sure the commissioners had a chance to take a look at them.
So
My name is Rance Coulter, and I live at 5115 North Ann Arbor. Stacy's my wife, so I'm not gonna beat a dead horse on anything, but definitely the business hour, the hours of operation are a concern because we're not shut down at 6 o'clock in the evening. I mean, it goes on late every night, 7 days a week. That's our observations, right, currently, where we're currently at.
Sir, how late would you estimate?
Like 10, 11 o'clock.
Okay. And
On weeknights.
consistently, or?
On Sunday, usually on Sunday, they're not there that late at night, but they're there on Sundays too. Somebody's there. I'm not entirely sure if somebody hasn't been living there. There's been roosters over there too. I don't know why there's roosters at the business, but we got that going on as well, so. But my other concern is the traffic. So, we have a little drive, I don't know if everybody's familiar with it, but with Ron's and with the property here in question. We have a narrow drive that goes back to our house off 50th Street, how we get in and out. And so we've been having a lot of issues with vehicles being parked out where we can't see. They're right off of 50th Street, they park them out so far that when you pull up, you can't see if the kids are walking in front of, when they're going to school and stuff, you can't even see if they step out in front of your vehicle because there's a big truck parked there or something, type of deal.
And you're saying up towards 50th?
Yeah, it's right there on 50th Street.
Out towards the easement?
Up towards the easement, yes. So, I have to go over there all the time and try to ask them. There is a language barrier issue, and they have moved them, but then, you might 3 weeks later have vehicles parked out there again. But that and the fact that I don't really ever see any of these vehicles leave, really. I mean, these things are just mostly same vehicles, so you would think if they were going to the dealership, they'd be moving, but some of these vehicles have been, now they've been all moved within the last month for some reason. There's not hardly any vehicles out there anymore. It's probably only about 8, 10 vehicles out there.
I've asked them to move them,
Is that
plus they're shut down,
Yeah.
supposedly.
Okay. So anyways, those are really just the main concerns. This is the quality of life. And
Is it music, or do you hear like the mechanic working, banging type stuff?
all of it. Compressors, banging, music, the whole deal. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if you noticed when you were looking at the pictures, if you could tell or not, our house is literally 10 feet away from that building. It's right.
No, you can see the from inside the,
Yeah, our back window is just like 10 feet away from the building, right there, so. So anyways, that's all I think I have to say. That's my concerns. Appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
sir. Thank you.
Good evening. Ida Musawi, 5025 North Ann Arbor Avenue. My house is the corner house on 50th and Ann Arbor.
Okay.
The longest side of the house is facing their parking lot. Sunday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, there is this 18-wheeler with two tire of cars running into 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. This is our problem with them. It has been going on for years now. I've been in this house for 12 years. 10 o'clock at night, the front of the business have cars of the workers there sitting on top of the hoods of those cars with music blasting. We cannot even sit down and rest. Weekends, weekdays, you name it. We have two schools there. We have Putnam City High School, and we have the high school for the church. I'm not sure what's the name of it. So they cannot bring those cars that they purchase from auctions into their lot that easily. It has to go through 50th. 50th is not equipped as a street to carry that much of traffic. They have to bring it either very late at night, which is affecting us, or very early in the morning, which is affecting us. Especially on a weekend, you really want to rest. The property values. Why do we want to turn the first area of Warr Acres downtown into an industrial area? It should be really the most beautiful presentation for the city. I heard that Warr Acres was supposed to be the capital of Oklahoma. So why do we want to turn it to industrial? This shop, they have been doing all kind of things. It's not mechanics only. There has been paint and God knows what. You don't take a car from auction that is being totaled to just fix the pistons or the engine or the transmission. You have to fix the whole car. There is body, it definitely have a body shop, paint shop, it has all kind of things. The whole place, you cannot even find one person. You walk in there, you try to knock on a door, there is no one there. Dogs running, they used to have 2 dogs, they keep us up until 4 o'clock in the morning. The whole business needs to go, honestly. This area should not turn to industrial area. Ron has been there for God knows how many years, but come on, there is Ron, them, and there is another one which is less than a half mile away from it on MacArthur and 50th. It's another mechanics. Are we gonna turn 50th into another 39? I'm not sure how many of you have went to behind those dealerships on 39 and seen the state of the garages there. It is horrible. I can bring you pictures from there. We really don't want to turn our area like that. We have spent tons of money on our houses. The value of our houses are going down. The value of the area is going down. The face of downtown Oklahoma City is really turning to industrial. Is that what we want? Is that how you want Oklahoma, Warr Acres downtown to start with? This is what I'm gonna say. And oh, no, there's another thing. You know that 50th, I'm not sure how many of you lives there, but there is every day, 6 or 7 times, there is a fire truck going to the apartments next to us or to our area from Warr Acres Fire Department. There is 2 to 3 car accidents in that area in particular. Ask your police department and see how many car accidents we have. Do we really need to increase it by risking another issue by bringing all kind of trucks driving it over there and basically closing the whole 50th? If there is an emergency, an EMS is not going to be able to go there. I have one of my neighbors. He have a child who is disabled. If they will call the emergency for their child, and one of their cars are blocking the whole 50th, what can we do? How should he basically be carrying that child to the emergency car so he can take it to a hospital? It's been going on for ages. There is no hours. The noise is unbelievable. It is very nuisance. Open a nightclub and just finish with it, and instead of basically having just a body shop. And thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was talking about
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my name is Raimundo Alviso Charqueño, and I live on 5017 North Ann Arbor Avenue. This is in Warr Acres, Oklahoma. I live like a block south of 50th Street. And I just gotta mention something, if you allow me a minute of your time. Yeah, I'm living there since 2017. I had a family of 5, my wife, my 4 kids, and myself. I had a 5 years old boy and a 10 years old girl. She's Down syndrome. What I noticed, this has not, I don't know if this has something to do with that business or not, but I'm gonna say when the people turn from the 50th Street, it doesn't matter if they came from west to east or east to west. When they turn to go south on the Ann Arbor Street, they just push the gas. I mean, a lot. There's, what I noticed, there's a lot of young people. I was young back in the time, but this is 20 feet speed limit in there, and basically, I want to say 50% of the vehicles, they just push the gas. They think that's a race street or something.
So the mechanics there are test driving cars like race cars?
Yeah, they
Basically,
just,
they're those people that are test driving Or
Are you
just-
talking about the property that's before us, or are you talking more generally about people?
General vehicles, it doesn't matter,
But
just,
all we're here for tonight is this particular property.
Yeah, we're talking about this.
Okay.
this
Not
gentleman's
that the
property.
city's not
I'm sorry,
concerned,
sorry.
not that the city's not concerned
Yeah.
about your, concerned about people turning on Ann Arbor, but it's just
Okay.
this isn't the forum for it. I would suggest you get with the mayor,
I got you. So-
who's here tonight. He's probably
Okay,
gonna love that I called him out here.
I apologize.
But, that's an issue to bring up with the mayor.
So
What
I
we're
gotta
talking
ma-
about tonight is this one property.
I gotta make an appointment to discuss about this in the future, or what do you recommend it to?
He's the guy with the hat and the glasses right there.
Okay.
He's probably loving that. I just pointed that out.
Okay, about this property, back to the property, sorry, Chairman. Business guy, I support business, and I know this business isn't there for, since I'm on that property. If this business is gonna do, as long as it's not gonna do, the volume, property values for our houses, and if they do the things right, and I don't see, do the things right every
Gotcha.
time. She's my neighbor, I support her, we support each other. And if, like I said, if this business is not gonna give me the volume property values, yeah,
Very
just
good.
neutral, just.
All right, thank you.
Everybody has his fight. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Dana Anderson. I'm at 5021 North Ann Arbor, Warr Acres 73122. I'm here just to address like the hours of operation. So I don't know if you could put some kind of stipulation on that where we didn't have to listen to that all night. It would really help a lot. So I understand business is business, and maybe you'll pass it and maybe you won't, but if you do, I'm requesting that you consider the hours of operation.
Ma'am, specifically, would it be the mechanic noises, drills, compressors, things like that, or the music, or both, or?
All
All.
and, everything, all of the above.
Okay.
So the 8 to 6, that's acceptable because, you know,
Right,
a lot
that's
of stuff
business
around
hours.
it is 8 to 6, but if it's 6 a.m. or 10 p.m. or midnight or whatever it is, that's too much.
Right,
It's just excessive.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Vicki Douglas, 5412 Northwest 42nd. I just need some clarification. I couldn't hear everything. What's your last name?
My last name
Uh-huh.
is Mohamedi.
How do you spell it?
All right.
Well, okay, and I didn't get Julio's last name either. Alvarado. Alvarado, okay, that's easy. Yeah. Okay, okay, so you own the lot. And is Julio gonna own the business or the lease? Lease the business. Okay, and all those cars that are there right now,
Okay, everybody, this is for the benefit of the planning commission. The public has the right to speak. Vicky, if you don't mind making sure, because they're not going to get any of that for the
Okay,
minutes when
why are
it's not
there
in the
cars there
microphone.
now? I'm just curious.
And if you or Julio don't mind coming up and getting closer to the microphone so that we can get those answers also.
I believe that's work that was in progress. The question I want to ask him, and I will ask about the other dealers, is that they don't have transports drop cars on 50th if that's happening. There's no room for it, and she's absolutely right. The only time you can do it is after school, which means there's a semi sitting out front. That's not okay. If that's a situation, I'm telling you, I know these dealers. I can talk to them myself too.
So they're owned by car dealers?
Correct, ma'am.
Okay.
Because he contracts closed loops with those folks right there, which ensures that he always has work, and those guys have overage if their mechanics don't show
When you
up.
say work, but he hasn't had a license to operate, right?
What you were saying is correct, he
Okay.
hasn't had it.
And there's a lot of repairs that need to be done. Code enforcement, there's a brick wall.
I
that's
haven't been in
crashed
it except to give them a stop work order.
Huh?
I haven't been in it except give them a stop work
Well, I
order.
just saw that a fence and a brick wall on the front is crashed in.
I'm pretty sure once they
And-
look at it, they're gonna
yeah,
suggest
so it's
everything,
probably
and I will
gonna be
make sure
something
that,
like that.
yeah, and, hey,
Okay.
listen,
Okay,
I'm gonna make sure that my number's with these guys, so if you guys go into that office from here on out, you can get a hold of me too, because I'd like to know. I mean, this is a community and this is what it's about, so.
Okay, well, I was just needing clarification because I didn't catch up.
100%, ma'am, I
Okay,
appreciate
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
One question for you, or, well, for Julio, but if you know the answer.
sir.
One of the concerns I heard raised that maybe can be addressed, what is the turnaround? I mean, with what you've described, I would think a dealership would want a vehicle in and out of there as quick as possible to get it back out on the lot so that they can try and get it sold. But we heard some of the concerns from the residents that vehicles come and never leave. What is the typical?
I can tell you this, and if anybody who saw my dealership, when I went to close my dealership, in the 2 months I took to close it, it looked like I had 12 cars out front. The reason is I bought the same silver Nissan Altima, red Altima, blue Altima, white Hyundai Elantra, Sonata. So when these guys are doing, say, in-house financing or buy here program cars, you're going to see the same car. Now, am I saying that that's what's happening? I can't tell you 100%, so I'm not going to lie to you. But what I can tell you is the suggestions that you give me, I will work on, because obviously I feel strong enough that these are good folks and I care enough about the area that I'm listening to both sides and just taking recommendations and making it happen for you guys. That's all I can say, and I'll try my hardest to make it happen for you guys. I really will.
Well, you can go up there.
Sorry. I'm Nancy Alvarado. I'm Julio's wife, and I was hearing everybody's concerns, which I respect. Everybody was saying years, and I just wanted to point out, we barely opened our auto repair business in March of 2023, so it's barely been a year. And we've barely started renting with him a year ago. So I understand everybody's concerns. We can try to fix it. Things that happened years ago wasn't our fault, but we can accommodate to fix those issues. I was speaking to my husband now. I'm not very involved in the business because I work myself, but I was asking him why there were the same cars parked there for many, many months. He said that he gets paid per car that is fixed, and there's a lot of parts that he has to order that don't come in. Like they're on back order. It can take 4 or 5 months for it to be shipped to us. So it just really depends, and the dealer that we have contracts with don't take them back unless it's fixed, because that's what he gets paid for, to fix those cars. So sometimes it's kind of out of our hands if we're trying to fix, I don't know, a Honda Civic or whatever, and the motor is on back order and we need to order it, and if it takes 4 months, it's out of our hands, you know? But yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring that to everybody's attention, that we've only been renting there. It's barely been a year. And we were aware of the notice because we got a letter in the mail as well saying that it's been like since 2017 that everybody was trying to get us to get a license, but we had just started a few months before. So I just kind of wanted to bring it to everybody's attentions and everybody's concerns, because they mentioned years, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and it's barely been a year for us there. So just wanted to bring that up.
Did you guys take over an existing operation, or were you starting at, like, what was happening when you got there?
So when we started renting there, the building was already there. We just pretty much started renting, started getting our cars there, and then started after that. But yeah, we don't fix anybody's car to the public. It's generally just those dealers that we have contracts with, and they send the cars to us, which my husband and his team fix. And yeah, sometimes we have to order parts to get those cars fixed, and it can take months for that specific item that we need to finish the whole repair to come in, so I just wanted to address it.
And what I was really getting at is, did you take over an existing operation and just take over management and ownership, or was it just not being used for repairs at the time you guys got there?
It was right as we were ending, but I think I had cars there. She is right, I completely, and there was a time period where I was not there, but I had cars there and I had to get them out because I was minimizing the dealership and bringing them, so they are right, guys. It's been a few years, so I just, now.
But I thought you closed the business in 2020.
2022 February is when I stopped, and if they are saying they came in 2023, that would be a year later. I mean,
Okay.
I had cars stored in the back, and I can also, may I say one more thing? To what they're saying, there is difficulty getting parts, but I know how to fix their problem. It sounds like the dealers are making it their problem that these parts aren't there and getting it off their lots because they're limited on space. I can assure you, if that's what's happening once I talk to them later, I'll go talk to those dealers and get that off there, because that's gonna be an eyesore. It's gonna be
That may-
difficult for that guy to get in and out.
That may answer my question, because she brought up a good point. If you're ordering, let's say you order an engine, those don't come FedEx. They're gonna come by an 18-wheeler, cherry pickers, forklift. So
Keystone and LKQ have small box trucks with lifts in the back that they'll just pallet jack. They got those electric pallet jacks. I know because one of my facilities is on 39th, and I watch those things come in and unload all the time.
Okay.
And so they're on pallet jacks. I can show you a picture of what it would look like, or take one tomorrow.
do they all come with those trucks?
Predominantly, yes. Yeah. Yeah, unless you've ordered like a big load of them or something, but I don't know, that's not cost effective to ship it that way. I don't think, being palleted. But again, as for the eyesore of that portion, this can be resolved pretty quickly to where it's at least, if they're holding them and they're close to getting fixed, they're behind the fence, you know, or something to that effect. Simple.
Greg.
Thank you. Sorry.
Is it Greg?
Also, I wanted to bring up, I understand also a big part is our fault, because as new starting business owners, we don't really know all of the requirements. But I do have, when we started like our employer tax ID number, which was August, because we didn't know we needed one until we were getting ready, you know, to start getting all the paperwork together for taxes. So we requested it, which was, let's see, which one is this? Oh yeah, when we registered the business, August 2022, and then that's when we started renting, February 2023. So, but yeah, my husband was working for these contractors that the companies that we have contract with. Before, he was an employee of them, so when he kind of said, you know what, I want to step out of my shell, I want to start my own business, I want to grow, I still want to work with you guys, bring me your cars, that's when he was like, let me find a place to rent, start fixing these cars. But we can definitely, you know, fix the issues about the working time. They technically close at 6, but you know, once work is over, with friends and everything, they start cleaning up, talking, and just, you know, like to have a little chit chat with one another. But I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like it was a big portion that was missing out of the whole situation, because at the beginning they were mentioning that it's been years and years and years that they've been trying to get us to get a license, but we just started a year ago. So that was it. Thanks.
I know we've had a lot of time with the public, but someone else wanted to say something else?
It's kind of very confusing. So, Mako D. Alvarado, that is you, sir?
No, he's Julio. Miko is his brother. They have it together, like in.
So it's a partner.
Yeah.
You and a brother of yours.
But
He's not your brother, he's the owner of the.
Right.
And
Right.
owner who have a ability to manage day-to-day process and things. Because if you're not, if you are just a landlord, how can you promise that things are not gonna happen within a business that you're not the manager of? That's just a question, so maybe someone.
Here to question the hierarchy.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Davis,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Schiff,
Yes.
Downs,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Plumtree,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
motion passed.
I have a question for city staff, but this area of 50th Street, this is town center, correct?
It's,
on
the
the
whole
edge of
50th
it.
is a town center.
Okay.
Yes. In the
It
meandering
goes all the way
part of the
58.
city limits, all of the,
Well-
all of the Warr Acres portion is.
Up until you get to the school.
That's right.
The town center border to the east stops there at Ann Arbor.
Goes all the way 58th and 42nd.
I want to make a motion to recommend to city council disapproval.
Disapproval.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No second.
I'll second it.
Davis,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Schiff,
Yes.
Downs,
Yes.
Plumtree,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion passed to not approve.
Okay, so the next step in the process is this goes to the city council next week, Tuesday, 6 PM, this room. So you guys will need to be here. If you're not here, the application's deemed withdrawn, so you'll need to be here next Tuesday. The city council has the final say-so on whether or not to approve it. But the recommendation from the planning commission is to not approve it. But it's a recommendation.
Item 6, questions or comments from the audience? Item 7, question or comments from the staff? Commission members? Old or new business?